Renee, I have the need for speed.
Is that from, like, this movie for the first time ever, or is that from something else?
No, so I mean, I don't know where the origin of that started, but I mean, this is the movie that made that phrase
Okay.
famous.
I thought so, but then I don't know, like, if this was something that people said before that, so I was just curious, but yes, the need for speed, Tom Cruise clearly has it. Jesus.
So, we're talking about the Top Guns today,
Mhm.
uh, and we're gonna spend a little bit here talking about the first one because yeah, this is Maverick is a 30-year later sequel.
Requel?
Um,
Reboot, requel, like, they have a new class of younger characters that are probably gonna be in the story,
yeah.
unless they're just and Tom Cruise will be in it till he's fucking dead, I'm sure.
Definitely.
He's not going anywhere.
So let's talk about Top Gun for a little bit right here. So you never saw it until this week, right?
No, I'd never seen one fucking frame from the movie, not even the volleyball scene.
Oh, the volleyball scene.
Yeah. I was expecting a lot more from, like, the hype it got, but, like, yeah, it was pretty great and, like, very sexual.
And playing with the boys. That
Playing with the
song.
boys. I mean, I'm just saying this whole movie is like a love story between Tom Cruise and all these men, but specifically Val Kilmer. And at least that's what I thought the whole time. And I was waiting for it because I was like, oh my God, this is so like, really forward thinking for back then. And I was like expecting it because like they have so much chemistry, man.
They really do.
It was really good. And it's just so much sweaty guys going around. They're getting so close to each other. They're biting at each other. I mean, my God. The sexual tension was palpable, is it not?
It really is.
I was
And
taken aback by it at first, but then I was like, "I'm here for this. Let's go." And then it didn't go all the way, so
so I'm gonna get this out of the way real quick. I watched Top Gun a lot as a kid, so I love the original Top Gun.
you've got nostalgia for it.
I do. It's great. A lot of times watching it with friends, a lot of jokes with friends. We quote it all the time. It's got a ton of great one-liners. I'm going to say all that to say that I want to point out some really funny things about this movie because it's a bizarre movie in a lot
Mhm.
of ways.
Oh, yeah.
The first thing, you've already brought it up. The chemistry and the tension between Maverick and all the other guys
But
is
specifically Iceman.
well, I mean, I love the bromance of him and Goose. Everything that
Yeah.
they do together is funny. And then yeah, him and Iceman, there's a lot of tension there.
Sexual tension, right? I mean, I
So
was here for it. It was really palpable. It was like beat like just fucking I could see it coming off of them. They kept
yeah,
getting so close to each other. I was hoping that they would kiss. And I was so
yeah.
disappointed.
Ice man,
Yeah.
I am dangerous.
That's what I'm saying, and even at the end, he tells them, "You can ride my tail anytime."
you
It's
can be
exactly,
you can be my wingman.
"You being my wingman," whatever the fuck you wanna say, that means they're fucking tonight, and I wish the movie showed it to us.
The funny thing about all that though is the the chemistry with the main woman is so bad. Like he has chemistry with everyone else
All the guys.
except for the love interest. And it made
Mhm.
me think, can we just be done with Tom Cruise having love interests?
I
Like
know.
the only movie that I can think that that Tom Cruise actually seems interested in the love storyline is Jerry Maguire with Renee Zellweger.
Yeah, I was thinking the same fucking thing. Since then, nothing. I haven't
Everything
felt
else
anything.
everything else, he just seems so disinterested
Yeah.
in any love interest, and it's
It's because
just
he's
so weird.
handsome. They just throw women at him, and he just fucking beds them, but he doesn't really care, and I can tell. It doesn't matter. He's just trying to fuck, and it's probably because he's just sad he's not fucking Val Kilmer, and
I
that's
mean,
really all it is.
this is the Val Kilmer movie. Like,
Yeah. Oh, he's
the
so
hair
hot.
the hair, just spiked straight up.
Oh,
It's
he's
the
sexy as fuck. He's the perfect guy for, like, to be the adversary to Tom Cruise in this movie.
Mhm.
Like, the casting was really spot on. I will say also, I really enjoyed all the '80s music. It was really beautiful.
Oh, yeah,
Just so good.
and, like, it's insane to think that Kenny Loggins wrote Danger Zone and Playing with the Boys. Like,
For this movie?
I'm not sure, but I think so. But like, those are two totally different songs. Like, Danger Zone is like the high octane, like this is great. It gets you
Mhm.
pumped, and then Playing with the Boys is just like, what? What is this? What is this song like? This was written by the same guy. Th-
I don't even remember what the song sounds like.
like Playing with the Boys is essentially the male version of Girls Just Want to Have Fun. Like it was just so polar opposite
Yeah.
different. Like
I mean, I get it. I was wondering, like, really early on, I'm like, I've heard Danger Zone like 4 times already, so this must be like the theme of the movie, right? Like, I've heard this song at least 8 times by the end of it, and same with Take My Breath Away. I will never get over the
oh,
music cues in this movie telling you what to feel about everything. I know a lot of movies did that back then, but it's like really intense.
okay. So tell me if you agree. That is one of the worst sex scenes I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, I barely
It
paid attention.
it's
In the
just
dark, right? It's
it's
all
just
like,
uncomfortable. It's silhouettes. It's
yeah.
They don't even look like they're kissing. They just look like they're just like rubbing their mouths against each other. It's ugh, I hate it. It's bad.
Yeah, I mean, I barely watched it because I just was waiting for the inevitable sex scene between him and Val Kilmer, and I was just so fucking bothered that it never happened because I really wanted them to get together at the end. They became friends, they really trusted each other. And the new one, they're still fucking in love with each other. So I was just really disappointed, but the volleyball scene was pretty fun. I didn't like how sweaty he was right after, and then he went straight to the date, but I was so glad he asked to shower twice, and then he did not end up fucking her. Because that was really disgusting how sweaty he was.
The funny thing about the volleyball scene to me is just how it just comes out of nowhere. Like
Mhm.
they're they're at flight school, they're at all this stuff, and then there's just a volleyball scene, and it just comes out of nowhere, and you're just like, what are we doing with this in the movie? Like, why are we here? And the funniest part is that they're all not even dressed for the beach. Like
Yeah.
Goose is the only one wearing shorts. Val Kilmer and I think it's Slider are wearing sweats in in California.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise is in denim. He's just wearing jeans, and they got like all this gear, like they taped up their wrists and stuff. And it's like, but you're not wearing shorts. Like, what are we doing?
They were sweaty in almost every scene of this movie. I get it, they were in the plains and here they're playing volleyball, but, like, a disgusting amount of sweat, even for the guys that were just in the office. Like, everyone was sweating all over, and I just kept thinking, like, I mean, that's why we're seeing this volleyball scene. They're sweaty as fuck, and these guys it's because the real story is about their feelings for each other. These guys in Top Gun, they're all there because they just wanna be together.
I'm convinced that this is The Rock's favorite movie of all time, just for the sweatiness. Because The Rock is sweaty in every movie
Yeah.
he does. So
That's true.
the sweatiness though, mm, it makes sense for another thing I noticed in this movie. I'm pretty sure like a third of this movie revolves either around taking a shower or talking about needing to take a shower.
There's at least a good third in the middle that is all about it
Like
showers.
there are several scenes, important scenes, and they all take place in the bathroom, like in the shower. Like
Mhm.
they have
Or
their
they're talking about it, or they just got out of the shower, they need to go take one. You're right. A lot of cleanliness being subconsciously, like, messaging about, keep yourself clean, I guess? I don't fucking know.
even when Tom Cruise goes on the date with the girl, he's just like, I gotta go take a shower.
Yeah, thank God. I was, like, really bothered that he wasn't like, he was going over there without showering. At least a dip in the ocean, man. That guy was, like, fucking dripping with sweat. And then he goes on this date, and then he's like, "Can I take a shower?" And I was like, "Finally, thank God." And then he ended up not fucking her and he left, and then he went to shower apparently, but Jesus Christ. Yeah, honestly, this movie was very weird not having ever seen it and just experiencing it for the first time. I feel like this is Tom Cruise villain origin story.
Explain, explain.
I mean, do I even have to? First off, I think that, like, something happened in his brain and he thinks he's fucking Maverick in real life. He's trying to kill he's doing all these life-threatening stunts all the time, like, he thinks he's fucking invincible. always trying to prove it, but I think this movie really got in his fucking head. It's also the first movie where he had a fucking say in the, like, pre-production stuff and, like, actually getting involved in the story and the character and all that shit,
Hmm.
which, as we know, will come to full blast when he does The Mummy and ruins that whole fucking possibility of that universe. And now when I see Top Gun Maverick and they're like, "Oh, it was a Tom Cruise approved, like, boot camp that they had to do," and I was like, "Jesus Christ, this guy is just insane now." But I'm literally just thinking, like, this is him. This is who he thinks he is in his fucking brain, and this is why we have all these problems with him later on. He's just fucking thinking he's fucking Maverick, and this is why he's a true villain in my eyes. I mean, also the Scientology, but I'm gonna say I think this movie really got like, fucked him up for life, and now this is
Well, he gave us Top Gun Maverick, so I mean, maybe a little bit of redemption.
not for the Mummy. He will never redeem it. He could do 1,000 more Top Guns, and I would never forgive him. He's gonna need to do a lot more.
One thing I wanted to ask you, as a woman, I felt like the whole character of Maverick in Top Gun in the original is very aggressive, like uncomfortably aggressive. Like
Well, he knows how to play it with women is the thing, because he's super aggressive the first time he meets her, and he's, like, trying to fuck her.
the bathroom
Yeah, the
scene.
bathroom, he's super aggressive.
Okay, this is a little much.
The reason it works is because then, as soon as he finds out she's the teacher, and then he's like, "Oh, she's got the power. Now I'm gonna get the power," and he just ignores her and acts like he's not interested at all. And every time he hangs out with her, they're like gonna kiss or gonna fuck, and then he's like, "I have to go take a shower," and like leaves. So it's like he like really plays her like a lot, and it's just like women, we go nuts for that. Go crazy, act like you're obsessed with us, and then just ignore us. Oh my god, we'll be at you like moth to light.
Yeah, the whole reason that they like keep talking to each other is because he has that opening scene where he flies. It's inverted. He
Yeah,
flies upside down, and she wants to hear about that. Also, that scene was awesome.
sure.
Started up on his six when he pulled through the clouds, and then I moved in above him.
Well, if you were directly above him, how could you see him?
Because I was inverted.
You were in a 4G inverted dive with the MiG 28.
Yes, ma'am.
But yeah, like that's the whole reason they talk, and I never really see any part in them having dialogue and stuff where like they go from "that's what I want to talk about" to "I'm falling for you."
I mean, it's just because he's attractive.
Well, and then also the weird thing is when they have that whole scene where she critiques him and says like it worked, but that wasn't the right thing to do. He like throws a temper tantrum and loses his mind.
Mhm.
And I'm like, this is the most childish thing I've ever seen.
I know, it's really dumb. Like, I get it. I think it's just because he's attractive and the fact that he also wears that white uniform, because I would fuck the shit out of anybody wearing that. That thing is I mean, that's just perfect.
Oh man.
Women love a good white uniform. But I will say also too, I think for some reason, maybe just because I know this about Tom Cruise, but he's so short in real life, and he
Yeah.
wears, like, lifts in all of his movies, and, like, he especially wore, like, extra large ones when he was with her because he's, like, shorter than her in real life,
Yeah.
and just, like, all of his scenes where he's, like, being a badass, I'm like, he's wearing fucking lifts. Dumbass. Like, I'm short, but I embrace it, just
uh,
fucking live with it.
for all the goofiness of this movie, the all the stuff with the fight with the dog fights and the planes are just awesome.
They're
And
fine.
they're
If
I mean,
that's what you're into, like, yeah, they're great. That's
yeah,
why, like, if you're, like, you know I mean, guys just love it, I'm
yeah.
assuming because it's fun.
Guys love it, and especially dads love it. There's a lot of I've heard a lot of people that like say like, "Oh yeah, my dad used to just watch the opening scenes, just the planes being prepped and taking off. Like they just watch that opening scene."
Jesus. I also feel like I was wondering, like, why do people love this movie? Is it just the planes, or is it, like, the father-son thing? Because he's, like, looking for his dad, and he knows his dad did the right thing. Oh god, and then he finds out his dad was right, and he sacrificed himself, like, okay. But, like, I'm just saying that the father-son dynamic really plays into both movies, so I
Yeah.
figured that that would be a part of it, but from every man I've asked, it's all, "The planes are really cool."
Oh yeah. That's why we're here.
Yeah. I was like, "Jays, thank God I had something," like, I was, like, so bothered by Tom Cruise, or else I'd have nothing to talk about with either of these movies.
It's great. I will say though, I totally forgot, but this latest rewatch, I think this movie has one of the best lines of all time. When when he does the flyby, and the guy who manages the tower gets real pissed. And he walks out of the office, and he's like, "I want some butts."
Damn it! That's twice! I want some butts!
Okay, that's a good line. I want some butts.
I want some butts.
I also thought, like, when he says the line, "I'll hit the brakes and he'll fly right by," like, at the very end, when he's like, which
Mhm.
I didn't even know you could fucking do in a plane. Like, he's, like, flying his plane, and the guy's about to shoot him, and he's like,
This is it, Maverick! I'm gonna hit the brakes, he'll fly right by. Shit, he's gonna get a lock on us!
"Is this why every fucking action movie with, like, a car chase in it pulls that same shit forever?" They always do it. I'm especially thinking Pineapple Express, which, like, makes fun of it because he does that, but then she just slows down, and he's like, "What are you doing? Get going." He's like, "I thought she'd just fly right by." And so I'm like, is this the first movie to pull that fucking maneuver? Because that shit is everywhere now.
I don't know if it's the first, but it's the first to do it with a plane.
Yeah, I've never seen that with a plane. I don't think you could do it, but I guess I don't know.
Yeah. Well, this seems like a good segue to get into Maverick. Huge hit. It it looks like so far, or it did about 1.4, almost 1.5 billion dollars.
Wow.
Um, and that made me think about what are all the other movies that are in the billion-dollar club.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did some research and
Awesome.
found some fun things. Do you know how many movies are in the billion-dollar club?
10.
No, there's 51.
51. Okay, wow.
51.
I'm not good at math.
Here's some stuff for you that I thought was really interesting. And I think this also kind of explains, or at least to me, makes it very obvious why Top Gun is a billion-dollar movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think it came at the right time, and people wanted a movie just like this. So there's 51 billion-dollar movies. Warner Brothers owns 8 of them. Universal has 8 of them. Sony has 3. Paramount has 3. And then get this, Disney has 29.
Yeah. That's a monopoly if I've ever heard it. Jesus.
Yeah, Disney owns this, and it's pretty obvious why. It's Marvel.
And Star Wars, maybe?
Marvel, Star Wars,
The Disney movies?
yeah, so yeah, Marvel, Star Wars, the Disney animated movies, and live action ones. Also, totally forgot about this. Totally forgot that Alice in Wonderland was a billion-dollar movie. Like that
Yeah.
movie was huge when it came out.
It's great.
Second one didn't do quite as well, but so Marvel has 10 of Disney's 29, and then there's 8 animated, 4 live action. 3 of them are animated remakes. So like
Mhm.
Aladdin, Lion King. So I mean those movies didn't do very well, but they made a ton of money.
I mean, I really liked Aladdin, but sure.
Yeah. That's the one I haven't seen, and I haven't
Oh.
heard anyone say anything about it really, so I assume that it's just fine.
No, it's good.
The other franchises that are that are a part of this group is Transformers. Two of those are in the
How
billions.
the
So
fuck are people still making Transformers movies, dude? Those things are for nobody. Who watches those things?
a
Car
lot of
freaks?
people.
Jesus.
Two of them made $1 billion. So Michael Bay
Get a life,
is
people.
in the 2 director club. Pirates of the Caribbean, 2 of those made $1 billion.
Yes. Which one's the first and the second?
No, it was the second, and then Stranger Tides. There's 2 Fast and the Furiouses
Oh god.
that are on there. 5 Star Wars movies.
Naturally.
Hmm. And 2 Harry Potters.
Oh, I'm surprised there's not more.
The first and the last. Those are the only ones that made.
Really?
Then The Hobbit and Return of the King.
Those two? Which Hobbit?
The first one.
Yeah. People were like after that, I still
Yeah.
love the Hobbit movies.
Then 4 Jurassic Park movies. The first Jurassic Park, and then the last 3.
Yeah. Oh, that's because they get butts in the seats, man. We just want to see some dinos, and that's what they give us.
But yeah, so
What about horror movies?
there's never been a $1 billion horror movie.
It was the first one, I thought, was the first one to pass $1 billion with rated R, and then Joker passed it.
Joker's not a horror movie.
No, but it's a rated R movie. So, like, it was, like, the first
Yeah.
R-rated movie to pass $1 billion, and then Joker passed it with, like, the amount of money it made. It made a little over.
Yeah, Joker is the only rated R movie in the $1 billion club.
Oh, so it didn't make $1 billion?
No.
Oh.
It came close.
Okay. I thought it did cross the $1 billion mark, but maybe it was just the highest grossing R-rated movie for a long time.
Yeah, I think it is the highest grossing rated R and also the highest grossing horror movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For good reason. That shit fucking rips.
It's great. Hold on, gotta get back to my charts. You threw me off.
I'm sorry. I had to know about horror. You had to
you're
know I
good.
was going to ask about that.
I know.
Give me those horrors that made it to $1 billion.
We're waiting for the first $1 billion horror movie.
Yeah. It Chapter 2, I'm assuming, didn't hit it.
No. So the interesting thing also is there are 14 franchises that make up this list.
Mm-hmm.
So a franchise is at least more than one in the series. Do you know how many are in there that did not have a franchise?
Well, it's 29 minus 14, right? I'm not good at math, but whatever the answer is would be that number?
No. No. So there's 14 franchises that make up the 51.
Okay. I don't know. 8?
So I'll tell you this. There is one.
One movie?
I'm going to say 1.5 because
Okay.
it doesn't have a sequel yet. Zootopia did $1 billion. It doesn't have a sequel yet, but I guess there's going to be like a Disney Plus thing. But then Titanic.
Titanic
is the only non-franchise.
Well, you can't do a sequel to Titanic. There's just no way. What are you going to do?
James Cameron can give it a try.
I don't want to see it if it's just Rose living her life. Fuck that. Or Titanic V2. Like, we have another Titanic that's going out. There was no Titanic. That's interesting, though.
It is. So this shows why studios pour money into franchises, because they are the thing that make money. Now, this was also interesting. Now, this number is maybe a little bit skewed because I don't know if I can count Marvel movies. So there are only 8 movies that made $1 billion that were the first movie.
So the first one in the series, basically.
Yeah. They're like the first movie. There's only 8 that did $1 billion.
Are you counting like Iron Man then?
Well, Iron Man is not one of them.
Oh.
But like that, so like Black Panther, Captain Marvel.
I got you. Okay, so for each character, not like in the whole series of Marvel.
Yeah,
that's
so
what
that's why the Marvel stuff is kind of skewed, because like they're introduced in other movies, but like their first movie. So, but yeah, 43 of the movies are sequels.
Because that's what we fucking want. Apparently, we all love the nostalgia shit. That is why Top Gun Maverick worked for so many people, I imagine. I mean, I had no nostalgia because I watched it 5 minutes before I watched before I watched the new one.
Yeah.
So I was just like, oh yeah, that's like a lot of the same stuff. And I caught it all. But I was like, I bet if I watched this like 20, 30 years ago, then yeah, I'd probably have those feelings.
Yeah. So this kind of leads to why I think it makes total sense that Maverick became $1 billion movie, because everything else is franchises, it's kid movies, it's superhero stuff, and Top Gun, while now it's a franchise, it's not any of those other movies. There's no fantasy element, there's no superheroes, there's no whatever. It's a movie that, hey, you like normal stuff, you like war stuff, you like planes and stuff.
You basically have to really like planes, I feel like.
No one has made a movie for you guys. You should go see this.
Here's the movie for everyone who loves planes. It's true. This is a very different movie that you would never expect a sequel to all these years later.
Yeah.
It doesn't really seem like it. It's just like a random action movie. It's like Nick Cage making a sequel to Con Air now.
Oh, I would see that.
Exactly. See, it's the thing. It's just because it's been so long that we don't care if it's even the first movie is even that great. We're just like, fuck yeah, I want to see him again.
Put the bunny in the box. But yeah, like this was a movie that it drew all of those people to theaters. Whereas
Mhm.
other movies that are like, I don't really care about
It's
superhero
like the
stuff.
one non-horror movie that did it
Mhm.
because we needed theaters. People needed theaters. Theaters needed us to go back, honestly. And
Mhm.
this movie was like one of those ones like Avatar where people are like, you got to see it in the theater, man, which I didn't. So apologies. But did you see it in the theater?
No.
Apparently, we didn't even need to because everyone else did.
Well, I think this movie, I kind of understand people's excitement for this movie because as I was watching it at home, I'm like, oh, I could see this being awesome in theaters, like with the surround sound and all this stuff. Like I could see it being way more engaging.
I mean,
Uh,
they're
fu-
still cool, I guess. I just
yeah.
get like kind of nauseous watching all that shit.
Well, before we move on to Maverick, a couple other things I wanted to throw at you. So, some of the kind of the random non-franchise movies in this, there's only a couple, but Top Gun Maverick, Titanic, also Skyfall, the Daniel Craig James Bond
Mm.
movie. Did not realize that was a billion-dollar movie.
Hmm.
But yeah, literally everything else is a part of a franchise. I mean, 007 is a franchise, so
Yeah, exactly. And Top Gun Maverick now is a part of a franchise. It's
oh
just
yeah,
the thing is that everything old is new again. Every 20 years it just cycles through, every 30 years, whatever. So now there's going to be a ton of reboots of 80s and 90s shit. And we're all adults now. We're going to go, I remember that shit. I'm going to fucking be there. Of course I am. Right?
yeah.
It works. That's why it's a proven formula, as this list really shows. But Tom Cruise, I would say, or sorry, Tom Cruise in Top Gun Maverick was more of a risk because I mean I know there's a big fan base for the first movie, but it's like not the like bankable guaranteed hit that like all these other franchises would be.
Totally. And last thing on this that I thought you would think is interesting, there are 12 directors that have done more than $1 billion movie.
Throw them at me.
Michael Bay,
Transformers was his key ticket into this group. God, he should be eliminated just because he made those fucking movies.
Kyle Balda, and Pierre Coffin. They're the directors of Despicable Me 3 and Minions.
Jesus.
Kevin Trevorrow for Jurassic World and
Colin Trevorrow.
oh, sorry, Colin Trevorrow.
Jesus Christ, get it right.
And you know what? If he would have directed the second one, he would have been in the 3 Club.
Yeah, well,
He wrote the second one, but he took a break for some reason.
that guy, I will say, Colin Trevorrow, people give him a hard time because, like, but like Spielberg fucking picked him to be like his successor to direct this franchise, and he does really cool action set pieces. I will say, and that's like a big part of those things. So, just let's be nice to everybody. All these guys made fucking billion-dollar movies. That's a huge achievement.
And then we also got John Watts, who did all the new Spider-Man movies.
All of those made $1 billion. All three?
No. The first one didn't. The
Okay.
second 2 did.
Yeah, of course.
Peter Jackson, he did 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And Christopher Nolan has 2 for Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises. And then we have the director Chris Buck and Jennifer Lee. They did Frozen and Frozen 2. Jennifer Lee, the only woman.
All right, I'll give her that. But Frozen and Frozen 2, I hate it.
They made so much money.
Yeah.
Joss Whedon for the first 2 Avengers.
Boo. Fuck that guy. He's a total dick.
J.J. Abrams for The Force Awakens and Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Last Jedi was better than both of those.
Obviously.
The last one in the 2 Club is our boy, James Wan, Furious 7 and Aquaman. Also, James Wan is the only one to do a $1 billion movie with 2 different studios.
Warner Brothers
and Universal.
But wait, so you're telling me Jordan Peele's not on this list, or Spielberg, or like
Spielberg has 1.
What is his?
He has the first Jurassic Park.
Okay.
Yeah, Jordan Peele's not on here.
None of his movies made $1 billion yet?
Nope.
Give it time, buddy. His next one, I bet.
Yeah. Todd Phillips is the only rated R director.
Yeah. Because fucking Joker.
Yep.
I like that movie.
So yeah, the list of the people on who have 1 is longer, but
I got you, but those are the only ones. I can't believe Spielberg doesn't have 2, but wow.
Yeah, that was surprising to me.
Yeah.
Then the only 2 people in the 3 club is James Cameron. Got to give it to him. He's got 3 of them. And then the last one is the Russo brothers
Really?
because of the
Captain America and the Infinity Wars?
I consider Captain America Civil War and just another Avengers movie. So
Yeah.
they're all Avengers movies. But yeah, the only people to have 3.
Jesus.
Interesting stuff though.
Yeah, that is interesting. It does like I get people that are like worried about things when they hear that. Like that would make most people really stressed out. Who are
Mhm.
like, "Oh my god, cinema's dead." It's like, you know what? You guys wanted people back in the theaters. They're not going to see any of these other fucking movies that are going to be nominated for the Oscars. I love Spielberg, but nobody went to see The Fablemans.
Yeah.
Everybody and their fucking mother went to see Top Gun Maverick. That's why it's going to be nominated probably
Mhm.
because it saved movie theaters. But it's like, don't complain about all these fucking sequels because that's the fucking like money that's coming into
Mhm.
the business. That's saving these people's asses to make art house films.
Yeah.
Although, like, if it keeps going, people are worried, it'll go away and we won't have any art house movies. And then what will we do? I guess we'll all just have a fucking good time watching Top Gun Maverick for the 20th time.
Well, then I thought you would like this, and this can be the last thing on here. So the billion-dollar actor by the numbers it's actually Robert Downey Jr.
Hmm.
because he's the top billed actor in all
All
those
three is
and
iron.
all the
Yeah.
Marvel movies and all the Avengers.
Yeah.
And then number 2 with 3, Johnny Depp,
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Alice in Wonderland, and Pirates.
Fuck yes, dude.
I mean, I think the big reason why this movie did so well is because it did exactly what it needed to do. Like people who went to see this were people that love the original, and it's a plane movie. It's you are going to see more of Top Gun, and I think of all of like those legacy sequels, like this movie probably is one of the better examples of movies that like did it right.
Mm-hmm. I agree. They did all the right things. They did everything that you would expect from a legacy sequel for this movie. It checked all the boxes.
And I mean, I think you and I would both agree that this is definitely a very safe movie. Like
Yeah.
it didn't do the Halloween thing. Like where it
No.
tried to do some very different things with the Halloween sequels.
And it didn't do it like Rise of Skywalker, where they like realized that people were pissed off about Last Jedi, even though it was great. And then they tried to redo it all and put nostalgia stuff in at every second. And you're like, this is horrible.
Yeah.
Like they really found the right balance, but it's like, because you can't overdo it, but you got to have the right thing. And obviously, it's called Maverick. It's all about Tom Cruise's character, which I
Mhm.
think is like the driving force for a lot of people.
Well, yeah, and it is funny that they kind of are setting up the whole movie for Maverick to pass the torch, and then there's like, "Now, Maverick, you're gonna do it."
It's because it's a Tom Cruise movie. There's no fucking Tom Cruise movie where he doesn't save the day at the end. Oh, you know what? Let the new guy do it. No, he fucking does it. What does he do when the new guy tries to save him? He fucking gets mad and says, "No, what the fuck? That's my hero moment, basically." That's the thing. Tom Cruise might be 60, but he is not passing the torch. That's the only thing. He's like, I'll be in all these movies until I'm dead because I'm not going to pass the torch. It's still my movie,
Yeah.
which I mean, fine.
He's gonna kill off all the legacy characters before he gives it up. He's like, Iceman, you're in this, but you
Dead.
have cancer.
Yeah,
Like,
you're gone. I mean, they had to do that because of Val Kilmer in real life, but also,
yes.
you know, and then I didn't realize this that the one time he does speak in the movie, that's an AI generated voice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he can't even talk.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, holy shit, that sounded really good.
Yeah.
That's a little terrifying, that AI technology that can just replicate your voice like that. My God.
Well, especially when it's that good and it's not Disney.
That's the thing. They have money elsewhere at other studios enough to do this shit, dude. It is crazy. I mean, obviously they're going through like another company that probably specializes in it, but yeah, that was crazy. But I will say, yeah, you're right. They're gonna kill off all the other legacy. I mean, he's the only legacy character left in this movie.
Yeah, I was a little surprised that Val Kilmer was the only one.
I mean, Goose is dead, so that's why you have Goose's son, Rooster.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I thought Meg Ryan might be in it, but then they're like, "Oh, she's dead too." It's like Tom Cruise was like, "I'm the only one that gets to come back. It's my movie."
Well, and Jennifer Connelly, her character, I guess, is technically a legacy character.
Ugh, not even though.
She's mentioned.
Briefly,
I
yeah.
think, yeah, I think like once or twice
If I
in the
hadn't watched that movie 5 minutes before I just saw this, like, new one, I would have no idea who the fuck she was. So, I mean, that's fine, that's cool. I was wondering, I was like, "Oh, why isn't the other chick in it?" Probably because that didn't last because he was probably dating Val Kilmer this whole time. That's what I thought that we were gonna get at the beginning of this movie, honestly. So I was really disappointed to see that Val Kilmer had a wife.
Well, and this movie's really good. I personally, I think it's a little overhyped right now. Like, there's a lot of people that are like lists that I'm seeing where like it's people's like it's the best movie of the year, like their favorite movie of the year. And I'm like, this is a good movie, but I don't know if I would say it's the best movie of the year, but like to each their own. It's a very good movie. It does exactly what you would want it to do as a Top Gun, lover. I think this movie reminded me though personally how much I enjoy when movies like take big twists or like big swings like
Mhm.
you and I've talked extensively about a bunch of movies this last year that do some really interesting things. Like
Yeah.
try some big things. Some things work, some things don't, but like we
You
love
got
it.
my respect either way, and I'm happy that to see that you're taking a chance versus this is like, yeah, the safest requel possible. I mean, it's still good, but yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like I mean, this movie, the tagline could be like nostalgia's a hell of a drug. Like that's literally what this movie is. It's just nostalgia, which I
Yeah.
was going to ask you about because you also like watched this the original growing up. So like did the nostalgia hit you
Yeah. It did.
or was it just cool planes again?
Well, I mean, I think the nostalgia is Cool Planes. Like
I mean that, but like I
they're
mean
the
even
same
the whole
thing.
opening sequence is exactly the same
Yeah.
two songs and they're setting up the planes. I mean,
Mm.
they're hitting you over the head with it from the fucking beginning.
Well, the thing that I really liked that they did in this movie though is they played to the nostalgia, but they didn't that's not all the movie was. Like it had a lot of nostalgia, but like the first movie has so many like great one-liners that, I've quoted my whole life. I don't really know if this movie had like there was no like one-liner that I'm like, "Oh, I'm saying that later."
Yeah.
But this movie, I think this is a much better movie
Oh yeah.
as a whole. Like this movie actually has a narrative throughout the whole movie. They're like
Mhm.
they're like we have this mission.
Yeah, they actually have a mission specific to the movie,
We
yeah.
have to train these people for this mission, and then we have to execute on that mission. Whereas the first movie, when I was rewatching, I was like, this movie is like it's almost like a college film.
It's
Like
like a boot camp,
yeah,
that's all that it is.
it's just people getting into shit in college, and here's the funny stories. And then at the end, they're like, "Oh, also, we have some enemy planes. Get in the planes. And we're gonna go have a dogfight." Like,
Yeah, exactly. But of course, it's like Tom Cruise just has to be the fucking hero in every movie, and that's what he has to do in this movie. But there was just like little things, like it's like, why didn't he tell Rooster that like he pulled his papers? Why did he just do that and set his career back? Like I get it, he doesn't want him to fly, but it doesn't seem like Maverick would ever do that. It was a weird move. And I know he promised to his mother, but it's like, just talk to each other. Is that so hard for guys? They can't just tell him and say, hey, I pulled your papers because your mom made me promise. Done. No problems. I mean, maybe he'd get angry, but at least he'd fucking know instead of 20 years of him wondering why.
well, that was one thing I was a little confused by. I thought that the tension was that he didn't forgive him for his dad's death. And then it turns out that it doesn't seem like he's mad at him about his dad's death. He's mad at him about the papers. I was like, wait a second, why are you mad at him?
I know it was kind of weird, but then I'm like, yeah, so then but why wouldn't he just talk to him? Like it's just so easy, man. Is it that hard for you to communicate? You can just fucking speak your thoughts and then everybody's on the same page. It's really not that hard. I had a huge question though in this movie right off the bat, which is like I'm pretty sure in the second one they say like Mach 2 and like your hair would be on fire, like it'd be crazy, whatever. And in this one, it's like they start off and he's going Mach 10. Like, what the fuck? Is that a thing now? Like, how did and also is that real measurements of time? Because that sounds like Han Solo saying, like, I did the thing in like 12 parsecs. I did the
Oh,
Kessel run in 12 parsecs. That's what it sounds like. But I'm like, is that real?
it totally sounds like that. That was the funny thing with that opening scene. I'm like, I get why they're doing this. Like they're showing that Maverick is still Maverick,
Mm-hmm.
but like, yeah, he goes Mach 10 and then the plane explodes or goes down or whatever, and he's fine.
Yeah.
Like he goes to the diner and just like, is that really how that would play out? Like, but
No, he'd probably be fucking dead.
I would have to imagine going Mach 10, you can't eject.
No,
Like,
you can't. There's no fucking way. That's what I'm saying. The plane was on fire. Like, how do you eject going that fast? Also, the fucking coming down from that velocity, whatever, I don't know, it would probably kill you. There's just no way. But the thing is, Tom Cruise has a fucking death wish. I thought about it in every other movie he's done recently, just jumping out of planes. He even does it not even for movies. He did that video of like, see you at the movies and then jumped off a fucking building. It's
yeah.
like, what the fuck is this guy's deal? Is it because he thinks he's Maverick? He's got to go the distance. I think that this movie is him proving that, yes, I'm still fucking Maverick and I'm the hero.
I will never die.
I'm never gonna die. And either that or he has a huge death wish, and someone should just fucking put him out of his misery. Because he's trying to kill himself in extreme ways in all these movies doing his own stunts.
I mean,
Pretty crazy.
it's totally insane, but I'm here for it. His action movies and stuff, they're very entertaining.
Yeah, but if my parents are fucking 60, if they tried to do that, they would fucking die. Like this guy needs to accept that he is old at some point. I don't think he ever will. I think he's gonna die filming one of these. Either this, Mission Impossible, pick your poison. That's where he's going.
Even Jackie Chan is like, dude, you need to chill.
I mean, right? That's what I'm saying. I mean, how old did he go till? Was he in his 60s still doing karate?
He did that movie The Foreigner, which was like his version of Taken, which there's not any like crazy stunts there. Jackie Chan did much crazier things than Tom Cruise. So I think Jackie Chan's body is like totally done. Like he can't do anything at this
Well, I
point.
wish Tom Cruise would end soon. I mean, he's never going to do a movie again, I don't think, where he's actually like acting. Like, I can't,
Yeah.
like, can you think of like the only role that I think Tom Cruise is a really good actor in is Tropic Thunder. I think that's his best role of all time.
That is his best.
Because that's the only time he's not fucking Tom Cruise. He's literally Tom Cruise in every movie. And after watching these, I'm like, Tom Cruise is basically Maverick. So I think that that's why he thinks he's Maverick in his head. And that's why he is the way that he is after this movie. The one time he must have like got hit in the head or something, and then he did Tropic Thunder, and then he went right back to this shit.
But it is really cool how they made this movie, and like Tom Cruise pushed it. I really wonder if Tom Cruise or who's the director of this movie?
I have no idea.
Joseph Kosinski. He's the same guy who did like Spiderhead and some other movies. I wonder how much of this is actually him directing, or if just Tom Cruise can't be the director for contractual reasons.
That's the thing. No, I mean, God forbid. We know his fucking directed by Tom Cruise is coming at some point. It's gonna be horrible. It's gonna be starring Tom Cruise, produced, edited by him. Jesus Christ.
But like it is really cool and interesting and unique how they actually
Sure.
like had cameras in the cockpits and they're filming just like the first one does. But like, yeah, I remember seeing some like behind the scenes stuff, and like the actors could only like be up in the air for like 15 minutes at a time just because like of all the G-force and
We were
everything.
just getting sick every day. Like, I would fucking hate filming this movie. Are you kidding me?
But it's really cool and really interesting that they did it.
But it's
You know?
dangerous, don't you think? I mean, they're up
Oh.
in those planes. I mean, thank God they all had fucking real pilots in there. I'm sure Tom Cruise probably tried to get it so that they could fly their own fucking planes. But, you know, he also had like the finalists for the role of Rooster flown to his fucking house for the top 3 to like, so he could audition them and make the final cut decision,
Oh,
which
really?
of course he does. And how predatory does that sound? So anyways, so the top 3 were Nicholas Hoult, our homie, which
Ah.
I can't believe it. I would love to see him audition. It was Glenn Powell, who plays Hangman.
He's
and then
great.
Miles Teller, and Tom Cruise and the studio, the director, everybody, they loved Glenn Powell so much that they wrote the character of Hangman for him.
Oh,
Or they beefed it up and made it a different character to fit him.
Hey, Hangman, you look good. I am good, Rooster. I'm very good.
Glenn Powell crushed it. I mean, Miles Teller was great too, but Glenn Powell
Totally.
crushed it. He was so good. He reminded me of it was like his character was like a mashup of Maverick and Iceman in the
Yep.
first one.
100%. He's got the cockiness of Maverick and like the flying style where he's like a total risk, but
And
he
not
also,
a team player.
yeah, not a team player, but he also kind of also has the same, some of the cocky attitude and the things that he would say and just be like all like showboating and stuff was
Yeah.
very Iceman.
Yeah. He was great.
He was really great. He was a standout and he looked wonderful in that scene when they played football.
Oh yeah. So I did think I'm like, they have to do another beach sports thing, and we all saw it in the trailer. But I actually liked that there was an actual point to it.
Team building.
It was team building, team bonding. I was like, okay, yeah, the volleyball scene has no point to the movie. At least this has a point.
This is, yeah, them actually like team building, getting on each other's like side and being able to trust each other. But I did,
And they're all wearing jeans. They're not all wearing random things.
yeah, I read that like Glenn Powell was saying how like he was crazy how insecure all the guys were. Like they were in the gym every fucking day, all day, preparing for that scene. And like they were all lubed up like crazy.
Yeah.
He said that there was just so much lube everywhere. They're all oiled up to like no end. And then he said that they filmed that scene. And then that night they're all like, fuck yeah, let's go nuts. And we ate a bunch of like junk food and just fucking partied. And then they said like a week later, Tom Cruise was like, we got to shoot it again. It's not perfect. And so they all had to fucking go back to the gym and be like, what the fuck? And so they had to get fucking re-ripped to do it again. So they were even more stressed out. And I was like, of course it wasn't good enough the first time.
Yeah.
Could have told you that on the fucking day.
This detachment still has some training to complete, Captain. Every available minute matters.
Yes, sir.
So why are we out here playing games?
You said to create a team, sir. There's your team.
And Tom Cruise, like, that's what I'm saying. He's calling the shots now on all this shit. It started in the first one, and now he's at full powers.
Yeah.
It's like he's fucking Dracula. I'm just saying. Whoever's his Renfield, I feel bad for them.
And shout out to John Hamm. He was a dick, but he was good. I liked him.
The one note, I mean, I took a few notes for this movie, but one of them said, well, John Hamm's going to be pretty sorry by the end of this movie. That was pretty obvious. I was like, oh boy. What does he think? He's so dumb saying like Maverick has nothing to offer any of these people. It's like, okay, this guy's obviously jealous. Like, fuck off, John Hamm. And he was like, wow, you know what? I'm going to risk my career for you by the end. Way to go. Good character development, I guess.
So I have to put this out there, and I think we have to talk about it. Majority of this movie, the plot is Star Wars.
100%.
Like, they have to a group of people have to fly through a narrow canyon type thing that is filled with missile launchers along the sides, and then they have to shoot a rocket into a very small hole, and they only have one chance to do it. And if they don't, they're all gonna die. And so yeah, most of this movie is just Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the plot of like the first Star Wars without the Force.
It might be because Rooster has to shoot that missile blind. The targeting system doesn't work.
I mean, him and Tom Cruise must have the fucking Force in these movies in order to pull this shit off, honestly. But
when I was watching this, I'm like, I know a bunch of people that have seen this movie, and no one has mentioned this. And I'm like, wow, the nostalgia must be really powerful if it's blinding people to this very blatant ripoff.
I mean, yeah, I noticed that the first time. I was like, oh, okay, so we're just ripping off Star Wars. I got it. But it was like half the movie was about it. So it was like, we're telling you the plan. I'm surprised that the fucking like commander didn't tell them, you guys have all seen Star Wars, right? We're going to do like the same thing at the very end of that movie. Like, come on. It's literally the same fucking mission. And you know what? They still pull it off though.
Yeah.
Because it works. They were like, it worked in Star Wars. It'll fucking work here again. And it did.
It did.
It was good.
The only thing that I thought was dumb in this movie was when they get shot down. That scene when Tom Cruise saves Rooster, I thought that was really cool. When he pulls the brake and then lets the flares up. I thought that was a really cool scene.
I didn't even a lot of this stuff when they're flying, I didn't know what the fuck they were doing.
But when they crash and then and then Rooster gets shot down. First off, they almost went a whole movie without a Tom Cruise running scene, but they snuck one in there.
They have to.
But I thought the whole thing of them stealing the plane, I thought that was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. I'm like, they just walk onto a military base and they're even like, there's a bunch of people here.
I know.
No one says anything.
It's because they had to get him in one of the older planes that was like the one that he flew in the original. They just were like, fuck it. We don't care. People, the nostalgia will be like so super powered during that scene. And I'm sure that it was. If I had just seen the movie 5 minutes ago, I was like, oh, that's what he was just flying. But it's like, I guess 37 years or whatever the fuck it's been. It's
like,
cool.
Just like we couldn't add any level of like, oh, we are sneaking on. It's just like, nope, we're just walking and now we're running to the plane.
And again, it's just one of those things where like literally they get saved at the last fucking second. Like that guy has his fucking bomb in his fucking like out. Like it literally just left. And then he gets blown up by Glenn Powell, by Hangman saving the day. But you're like Jesus fuck, thank God he showed up right then. They all would have been dead 10 seconds later.
Yeah, this movie made it seem like it's incredibly easy to steal a plane. Tom Cruise steals a plane twice in this movie.
Tom Cruise just tries to do that in every movie. He just tries to do whatever the fuck makes him look cool. That's all he wants. I mean, he still looks great. I'll give him that. And I'm sure he can fucking fly a plane. Wonderful. But like, does he have a death wish? I have to know because some of the stuff, I'm like, that's insane that you would ever want to do this. Is he just an adrenaline junkie now? I think that's what he looks for in movie projects, at least.
Well, I would love it if he did that and stopped having love interests. Jennifer Connelly is great in this, but again, Tom Cruise just seems very disinterested in the whole idea.
He's really broken up about fucking Val Kilmer dying. I get it. That was the love of his life. That's what I thought the first movie was. I was like, this is a love story. This is amazing. I had no idea. And then I was like, well, now I'm soured on the movie because it wasn't a love story. But I thought it was like so obvious that it was a love story between those two guys. And I was just like, I really thought that this movie was going to start off with them like being together and flying planes and shit. And, they didn't do that.
Things happen.
These movies disappointed me because they weren't gay enough. I think more gay would have been the way to go.
Well, maybe that can be in the sequel. Maybe they can work that in. I don't know. I mean, I feel like with this movie, it made so much money. It had a really great cast. It had a great young. It had a great young cast. Like we're definitely getting a sequel, right?
Oh, 100%. This made over $1 billion. Yeah. Oh yeah. I would be fucking shocked if they didn't make a third one. Who knows what it'll be called though? I'd watch Top Gun Hangman, personally. Actually,
Maybe.
that was so funny. I was going to ask you, what would your call sign be?
Oh, my call sign? If I got to choose, I'd probably do Bald Bear. I feel like that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Bald Bear or Treat Dog.
Yeah, something good.
That's what my brother always, his nickname was always Treat Dog. And I'm like, that'd be pretty cool.
That.
Pretty cool on a helmet, Treat Dog.
Yeah, that's not bad.
What would yours be?
I wouldn't have one because I wouldn't fucking be one of these pilots. No, that's irrelevant. I wouldn't ever be in the Top Gun school. If I had one, that's private. Mine would be, nope. I'm fucking out, guys. I'm not doing this. I'm turning around. It's not safe. I'd be the guy in the beginning of Top Gun that has a fucking panic attack and almost kills everyone. That's me. What's his name?
I think that was Hollywood or Merlin.
No, Merlin is Tim Robbins, surprisingly.
Oh yeah.
Whatever that guy is who dies at the, or not, who almost dies.
It's Cougar.
Cougar. I'm Cougar then. I'd be Cougar. Yeah, I'd be fucking Cougar.